All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Talk Tip with 50 channel. It's your boy 50. I appreciate you for checking me out. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you can see whenever I drop some new content. And for all my subscribers and people who check me out on a regular basis, I appreciate you for checking out your boy. All right, so want to wish everybody a happy New Year's. It's a 2022. For some people, it's New Year, New Them. And for me, it's, yeah. All right, cool. So one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about, and something that I gripe about often, is how some hiring managers and recruiters, or people who are in control of hiring, think that years of experience equals skill level. Okay. So if you're ever wondering, especially in cybersecurity, everybody says that there's all these cybersecurity positions out there, but then there are people that are guilty of quote unquote gatekeeping. And I don't think it's gatekeeping. I think that people are using the years of experience as a measure of skill level. And to be honest, that's not the best measure, to be completely honest. So I do cybersecurity, and I also, handle our security architecture. And I can tell you, for people, and I've done almost everything that has to do with like network or security or cloud or help desk on the server side. I've done it all. So I can tell you for sure that there is almost no tool out there. There's no tool or software out there that requires 3 to 5 years of experience to use. I'm just going to put it on out there. Now, in the position, for certain positions, you'll need years of experience because certain processes, how to do certain things in a certain order. Yeah, you need experience for that. But you can't require years of experience. I'll give you an example. If you say that somebody needs 5 years of tenable experience in order to work with them and run vulnerability scans, that's BS. You can legit teach somebody in 5 minutes how to run a vulnerability scan. If they can run antivirus software, they can run a vulnerability scan. It's the same thing. All you do is point your targets at it. You choose your policy, and away you go. Or vice versa. Choose your, of course, you have your scan with the policy built in. Then you choose your targets, add your credentials, and away you go. You can teach somebody to do that. Anybody who's new in IT during their 3 to 4 week training period will be a bona fide professional in running vulnerability scans within that time period. Somebody who is learning how to use a SIM and how to triage tickets can learn this in that time period. Nobody needs to have 5 years of experience in order to get an entry-level cybersecurity job. That's wrong. And then another aspect of it is requiring, years of experience for certain tools. You really don't need that. As a network engineer, if there's a brand new network engineer on the team and they weren't too familiar with, like, let's say Cisco commands, you can get them up on that in a week. And they'll be proficient in running show commands. Now, when it comes to the network being up and network stability and making changes, and then the confidence to make a change during the day, that's stuff that does come with time. But as far as like using the tool or the software, that's not something that requires 5 years of experience. And what's even worse is when, here's the really funny part. The really funny part is when there are requirements for new software that require our experience be longer than the software has been out. So PanOS, I think PanOS is on 10.1, and you're going to see requirements for 5 years of experience with PanOS 10.1. No, it came out last year. Or 5 years of experience with Checkpoint R81. It came out last year. How are you going to require 3 to 5 years experience with Checkpoint R81? Now, if you require Checkpoint experience, just say, hey, it's preferred that somebody has Checkpoint experience, and then the person who actually does the work or can do the work that the potential job candidate can do, they should be the one that grills the potential job candidate, not the manager who's never really been technical, not the HR person. If you really want to know who can do that job, then you need to have somebody who can do the job, ask them some questions. Because what's happening is a lot of the best technical talent is being missed because of these BS requirements. So I'll give you an example, then I'll give you a real world example, which I went through. So example 1. So let's say you need somebody with, we'll pick on Checkpoint. Let's say we need somebody who needs 5 years of Checkpoint requirements, Checkpoint experience. Okay, there's a job that requires 5 years of Checkpoint experience. And you have one candidate who is strong in Cisco, strong in probably 2 or 3 other next gen firewall vendors. And they've been doing that for 10 or 15 years. They've done cutovers, they've done firewall conversions, they've done it all. And then you have somebody who's been on the team where everybody has access to Checkpoint. They've been on that team for 10 years. They have access to Checkpoint, but they never really did anything with it. And what these recruiters and these HR people are going to do, they're going to say, hey, this person has 10 years of Checkpoint experience. Not necessarily. Until you talk to them, you don't know if they have that Checkpoint experience. Because anybody can put their job description and then all of the tools that are in their department. It's not necessarily false, but it's not necessarily true either. And somebody who doesn't have Checkpoint on there, but if they know Cisco and 2 other next gen firewalls, they can easily pick up on Checkpoint within like a day or 2, probably in a couple hours with the login and give them a user center account so they can have access to the documentation. They'll pick up Checkpoint in like a couple hours. You know, as long as they can ask some questions about some nuances and how this vendor does things as opposed to this other vendor, that person can figure it out. And that person really is the stronger candidate, but the HR people or the managers are going to go with the people that have the Checkpoint on their resume without really checking or having somebody technical check it. Because of course, what those people would do is, oh yeah, I've done stuff with Checkpoint. Oh, okay, cool. But usually the people who say, okay, cool, are the ones that never really touched it. So they're just going to leave it at that. But if you have somebody who's doing the job day to day, or at least overseeing it or has a hand in it, you know, they can ask the questions. Okay, so what have you done with Checkpoint? And then based on those answers, you can make your determination. You can make your decision. It'll be validated if they really have those 5 to 10 years of experience with Checkpoint. If somebody has all that experience with Cisco and all these other ones, and they can talk the talk and they can walk the walk, they should get the job. I can tell you that right now. You know, because those are the people who work for, those are like your, if anybody's familiar with the Cisco Gold certified engineers, those are pretty much them. They're strong in Cisco, and then they're strong in like probably 2 other firewall vendors, and then they're strong in either VMware and AWS, or VMware and Azure and AWS. They have some kind of strong hold in cloud, and of course they can troubleshoot. Those guys are well rounded. And see, those are the kinds of things that get missed by a lot of companies, just because they think that 5 or 10 years of some checkpoint experience means that, oh, well, they must be pretty skilled in checkpoint. No, you have trust but verify. You definitely have to verify, because I trust and verify. All right. So I'll give you an example, of a personal one. And I was going for this position. All I had to do was take a checkpoint configuration and move it over to Palo, or Palo to checkpoint. Either way, I knew Cisco and I knew Palo, and I have done things like this all throughout my career. So this would have been a breeze, right? So I go a little bit deeper. So with a firewall, there's very few things that, you need to check. Of course, you got to check your address objects. You have to check, are there any VPN tunnels, object groups? Are there any NAT rules? Checkpoint has that whole proxy arc thing where if something's natted, if you don't put the new ARP address in there, your natted stuff will be down. Things like that. Are there any routes? Are there any policy-based routes? Are there any sub interfaces? Are there, things like that? The firewall rules. They're moving over a firewall, and then nowadays you have firewall migration templates. When I first started, I had to do pretty much everything by scratch. I had to go through a firewall config and, document everything and pretty much move everything over manually. And so this job, they wanted me to move everything from checkpoint to Palo Alto, which would have been pretty easy. Most of the work would have been just doing the recon, just making sure that we got the same licenses, making sure that all those ducks are in a row, making sure that, all the stuff that was in one firewall was in another, and then, doing the testing. However, because I didn't have the checkpoint experience, they said, oh, well, I wasn't a good fit. And I asked her, I said, and she told me this, and I asked the lady, I said, okay, so checkpoint is a firewall, right? She said, right. I said, okay, so if I know Cisco ASA and I know Palo Alto, and those are the more complicated in the firewall realm, if Palo Alto, is a spawn child of checkpoint, I can learn checkpoint in probably a couple hours. That's been my career. And they were like, no, we're going to go with somebody who's a little bit stronger in checkpoint. Even though A, they may not matter. Even A, that doesn't matter. And then B, best of luck trying to find somebody who's, that strong in checkpoint for that price point. There are all these companies that are missing out on all these amazing people. And you know what? I've actually got another story for you guys. It's something I saw on Twitter. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. Yeah, so can y'all see this? So for those who don't know, Sebastian Ramirez, he's the guy that created Fast API. And with Fast API, you can use this, I think in Python to speed up the creations of APIs. And the creator of that Fast API saw a job post for Fast API, and it required somebody having 4+ years of experience in Fast API when he only had 1.5 years of experience since he created it. If that doesn't tell you what's wrong, then I don't know what else will. But that pretty much summarizes the problem with trying to get quality talent in this whole tech space. This summarizes that issue. This is why they can't find the quality talent, because I don't think they're evaluating it correctly. You can't just go off of keywords when you're trying to get quality talent. There has to be somebody in there who can speak to the technical side, not just the HR side or the hiring side of it. There needs to be somebody from the technical side that gives it a look and says, oh, yeah, he'll do. Oh, but he doesn't match. He'll do. She'll do. I don't know. This has to get better. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate y'all checking me out. It's your boy 50. Thank you for watching Talk Tech with 50 channel. Please be sure to hit that like button. Please be sure to mash that subscribe button if you're new. And I'll catch y'all later.